Hi everyone, it's Joanne Sweeney here from Public Sector Marketing Institute. In this webinar, I'm going to take you through the professional diploma in social media for government and public sector. It does what it says on the tin. It's aimed at those of you who are not working in a commercial sector, in the private sector. It is designed especially for government and public sector. And we know that the nuances, the needs, the conversions for you are very different to somebody in an e-commerce business, for example. You will learn best practice and you will also improve your competencies and your confidence when it comes to social media. Social media is ever changing. A lot of people can feel overwhelmed, but what I would say to you is that what this diploma will give to you, it will give you best practice, it will give you what you need to know, and also give you the confidence to know that you are up to speed and that you are best placed to manage social media on the front line yourself, or else to manage a team. We have a broad range of students that join the diploma. I'll give you some examples. So they can be existing social media managers that want a refresher, that want to test their social media knowledge. You have people who have been given social media as an extra job, so it's been layered upon their existing role. This is very, very common. And so they really want to tune in to social media, and you'll hear from some of those past students throughout this webinar as well. And then you have some people who are managing a team, could be a comms team, but maybe just a broader team. And they're in the role of maybe middle or senior management, and they want to understand social media. They might never send a tweet themselves. They might have a team to do it, but they really want to understand the role that social media plays in progressing their organization in terms of online reputation, corporate communications, public engagement, and indeed staff engagement online as well. So I am off the belief, and you probably would say, well, you would say that, Joanne, but I am off the belief that social media is everyone's responsibility. It is mainstream media. I'm just preparing a show on that topic, and hopefully you'll tune in. But it really is much more than what it was 5 years ago. And I think COVID has given us some extra urgency as well. So I'm going to share my screen and kind of take you through what to expect on the course. We have some people joining us today who have committed, and this is their onboarding. We have some people who have invited along who want to find out more about the diploma, and so you're also very welcome as well. The time frame here, I think it's very important for those of us who have a busy life, family life, work life, and then study life, that we have some structure put in. And that's what I have done with this program. I've put in structure. However, what I want you to understand is there is flexibility, and I'll explain how others who have taken the course have used the flexibility that I've offered them. Here is how the course is structured. There are 12 modules in the program. You will be given 2 modules per week to study in your own time. You access the modules in the Learning Hub. Those modules are broken down into units. So within Facebook, you've got Facebook ads, you've got how to run a Facebook event, etc., etc. They're broken down into short units and very easy to follow. So you will get 2 modules a week in the Learning Hub. The timing for each module is a little bit different. So the strategy module is longer than the TikTok module, for example, for obvious reasons. But what I'm saying to people is allow 2 hours a week. Now is the time for you to decide, when am I going to prioritize these 2 hours? Because if you don't prioritize it for yourself, nobody else will. And so put it in your calendar, identify a time that suits you. I do recommend that those of you taking it, do it during your work time, because there is an immediate impact and an immediate value to your workplace. That I can promise you. After then you complete your modules, I'm saying weeks 7 to 9 is the assignment. I will get to the assignment and I can explain that in more detail. And then around week 12, there are virtual graduation. So I hold a graduation every quarter. The next graduation is happening around the beginning of March. You may not make that, but don't worry about it. And that's where the flexibility comes in. If work has run away with you, if life has run away with you, it's no problem. We don't do stress here. Okay, nobody feels stress when they're in my company. This is all about structure, but also it's all about support. So we've had some students who've said, listen, you know, COVID has hit our house, or work has got crazy. Can I have an extension to the assignment? That's absolutely no problem. So what I will say to you is, I will say our next graduation date is, do you think you can meet that? If you can't meet it, don't worry, you can go to the next graduation date. So that's where the flexibility is. I'm giving you structure. I'm encouraging you to take the structure that I'm proposing. But if life happens, there is flexibility, and it's never, ever a problem. The other thing that I will say is everyone has 12 months access to this content. So while it's a 6-week program, there are so many extra resources and learnings within the Learning Hub that I don't want you to go into. So you'll see, apart from the core modules and units, which I ask you to take in preparation for the assignment, there's supplementary resources you will find there. It is not mandatory to look at those. But what I say to you is, you know, you're using this diploma to improve your skills, to apply it to your day job. Use the Learning Hub and what I'm offering you for a full year to help you in your job after you've completed your assignment. Okay, so the access to the Learning Hub continues for a year, and also the access to the live coaching continues for a full year, even after you've submitted your assignment. The program is CPD accredited, so it has been externally verified by the CPD Standards Office. They're based in London, UK company, but their qualifications are recognized in 22 countries. These are industry qualifications. I practice what I preach. You know, I've written books about it. I teach it every single day of the week. So this is industry standard. You are learning the best information. It's current and it's up to date. And that's why I give you 12 months access, because I want you to understand if there's a new Instagram feature added, because you're going to find out about it in the Learning Hub or in the live coaching. So this is Amanda Rosengrave, and she spoke at our last graduation. And she says that the weight of a CPD qualification is certainly gaining pace. It's always been a real accolade to have, but now I think with the world changing at such a rapid pace, it's really important to show that you have a qualification and it's been externally verified. She's the director and CEO at the CPD Standards Office, and I just wanted her to explain to my students the value of the qualification. So here's a short snippet from that piece when she talks about the external evaluation of this course. Okay, sorry, so you can't hear that. Let me see. Thanks for letting me know in chat. So you can't hear Amanda's audio. Let me take out my AirPods and let's see if this works. Thanks for letting me know. Let's go again and let me know in chat if you can hear this.
We look at the entire delegate learning journey. So we look at from the moment a course is advertised through to how somebody buys it and onboards it, the information that they learn and all the resources that go behind that, and then what the kind of long-term sort of evaluation or exam or, you know, whatever it is that follows up on that. And then the final one is just looking at how the actual organisation makes sure that that content stays relevant and up to date. So it's quite a rigorous assessment process, as you will have experienced, Joanne, when you went through it. But we're very proud that we have, so many providers that have come to us and have passed, this very strict criteria that really basically make sure that when somebody is advertising a course or a qualification, so CPD standards is accredited, it guarantees an absolutely fantastic, positive learning experience. And of course, it's relevant for a CPD record or for inclusion on your CV.
So and I took this second snippet from Amanda, the value of your this qualification on your CV.
We also run a very large research project with several universities as partnership. And we found that if you have a CPD section on your CV and you illustrate how much CPD that you've been doing, it makes you about 50% more employable and includes your promotional prospects. They tend to get a lot more positive as well. So the weight of a CPD qualification is certainly sort of gaining pace. It's always been a real accolade to have. But now I think with the world changing at such a rapid pace, it's really important to show that you have a qualification. We also run a very large research project.
So that's Amanda explaining the value of CPD and also how this program is externally verified and authenticated. So I can only get my badge as a trainer, a speaker, and for my courses if I go through that external process. And you know what? That gives me great comfort in knowing that the quality of what I'm producing is at a standard, because that's what I'm looking for as well, even in terms of my business. And then I can pass that comfort on to you guys. As always, if you've got questions or comments, put them in chat and I'll get to them at the end. The Social Media Learning Hub is where most of the learning takes place. So all the content for the 12 modules sits in there. They are broken down into tutorial videos. You also get the transcript of each presentation. Some people love this and they love to print them out. As I'm explaining, obviously there's more detail, and you also get it in audio. So you get the content in 3 formats. You get it in video, you get it in audio, and you get it in text, and you also get the slides separately as well. Because I understand that people learn differently. I'm really big into audio, and that's how I like to learn. There's also template plans. Your template social media strategy is actually in the Learning Hub in Module 1. You can use that as the basis for your assignment. There are many how-to videos on how to use many of the features of the social networks. I have sample social media policies, a range of those in there. Again, take these and you're invited to customize them. You're invited to use what I have created and then just use to tweak it for your own organization. That's what they are there for. Somebody said to me, am I not just copying what you're doing? And I'm going, no, I have written the template of what should be in your policies and what should be in the strategies. Take them, download them, and then just tweak them, okay? That's the level of value that I want to give. There's also a case study from government and public sector within every module, which can help to inspire you. At the end of each module, there's a module quiz. This is to test your learning. It's multiple choice. It's not difficult. It's not going to take you long, but it actually then just kind of reinforces the learning. You've 12-month access, as I said, and also you've got supplementary learnings and resources in there to look at your ease. The live coaching and the hot seats happens on a Friday. Happens on the 3rd Friday of the month, starting on the 3rd Friday of the month. Is it the 19th of February? It's 90 minutes. It's live. It's where I jump on. A hot seat is where you submit a question in advance. And then I give you, 5 minutes to explain what your question is. I obviously answer the question, give you consulting, mentoring advice on how I would approach it. but also we crowdsource shared experience and ideas from the class too. And that has been one of the values to date of this program. People love showing up for that session and seeing their peers from across the world in it. The other thing that I would say about it is these sessions are not recorded. They're deliberately not recorded because the flow of information. I want people to be open and to share their experience as well. So they're not recorded. They're not put in the hub. If you can't make a live coaching session, but you have a burning question, either about a topic in the diploma or something that's bothering you at work that you're trying to figure out, you can always email me. I will get back to you on email, or if it's a how-to answer, I will record a video for you and I will give it back to you. So even if you don't want to ask your question live, you can ask it for me separately and I will give you an answer. But 90 minutes of live coaching on the third Friday of every month. The link is in the Learning Hub. Put that in your calendar. It's 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Irish time. Here's the first kind of video from one of our graduates, and this is Michelle Inglis. She's counter fraud specialist at NHS Scotland, and Michelle got a promotion. Michelle got a promotion, and she is actually took this on, didn't have any social media experience, was responsible for Twitter, and let's have a listen to what she has to say.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we have a Twitter account, that's it. And we have gone from having a bespoke communications department within our service that's been taken out and gone, to a wider national service. So we've lost like 3 members of staff and have been running this Twitter account and realised obviously that we need to do more. And it is all about public perception. People don't want to see fraud and crime in the NHS. And I think having taken on this role just at the start of lockdown, it's unbelievable how much has changed just in that time. But I do have to say that it's only been thanks to, I think, speaking to everyone in this group that's really, really helped to be able to take things forward so well. I think there's a lot of us with the same kind of issues, but it's going to have changed our entire business. And I'm hoping, I've just put forward a separate piece of work. We're hoping to open up everything, Facebook, LinkedIn, pretty much everything, and change the way that we communicate with our health boards in Scotland. So it's really, really good and a great timing for it as well. And I got the job, so I'm doing it. So yes, very exciting times.
So Michelle had really embraced this course, and as I said, wasn't a social media manager previously, had been given this, and then taking the course opened her eyes to the potential of how social could help her in her job, and now they want to expand it to different places. Now I'm going to go on to the modules, to the core modules of what you're going to learn. There are 12 modules you will receive access to a week. The first one is social media audit and strategy. So I actually explain to you and show you how to audit your existing social media presence and performance. That's always the first thing that you do before you undertake a strategy. Then I'll take you step by step on how to prepare a social media strategy, how to segment audiences, prioritize channels, how to plan your content, how to implement your plan, and how to measure success. So everything that I do is very much the step by step, the practical, the implementable approach to social media. There is theory in there, but it's very much applying it to your organization. So you get your template strategy there. You also get a social media audit guide. So all the tools that you need to undertake anything that I'm asking you to do is there. The second module is content planning and public interest messaging, how to map your 12-month content plan, the rules of writing social media copy, social listening and content responsiveness. I introduce you to the repurposing method, so getting the most out of your long form content and to maximize it right across the social web, planning content for a campaign, and you actually get my other template in terms of social media campaigns. That's separate to the strategy. And then we also look at content metrics and how to measure if your content is doing what you need it to do on social. Then in module 3, we get into the first social network, and the first one that we touch on is Facebook, and Facebook as the core public facing social network. Twitter, as we know, is important in terms of media advocacy. Politicians are there, government departments, civil service, interest groups, the informed public. But if you want to reach Joe and Mary citizen, you've got to go to Facebook. So we go into how Facebook serves broad public facing communications. Remember, all of this content is hooked on government and public sector. So the nuances that you will understand are fed right throughout it. So hopefully it should speak to your job. How to build and manage communities on Facebook. A lot of people in public sector and government are nervous about Facebook as a channel because it is so open, and then the volume of the public that are there. But hopefully I'll give you the confidence to embrace it fully. Growing your page with citizen-centric content. Press releases are for journalists, they're not for the public. Video storytelling on Facebook, understanding Facebook's range of platform features, and then we'll look at Facebook Insights. Facebook advertising requires a module on its own. You might not be doing Facebook advertising, you might outsource it. I think it's very important that you understand the mechanics of Facebook advertising, and there's a great suite of tutorial videos, step by step, in the resources. This is separate to the core training. Again, you don't need to look at these right now, but they're there for you to go back on. So the difference between boosting posts on Facebook and Instagram and then going into Facebook Ads Manager, content best practice for Facebook ads, how to launch a Facebook ad campaign, how to maximize your budget, and then reading your advertising campaign report and understanding the metrics. Module 5 then is going into Facebook's sister social network, and that is Instagram. So maximizing your Instagram profile, how to increase followers and engagement with grids and stories, mastering IGTV and perfecting your channel. Reels is also in there now, as is guides, how to use hashtags effectively, going live on Instagram, and Instagram Insights. I really think that Instagram it's like a superpower of a social network. There is a lot of features that can take a lot of work, but I can tell you, if you map out a simple plan for how you're going to use Instagram in your organization, this has massive potential for you. It is, I mean, I've spoken to Jenny from Facebook and Instagram. She spoke at my summit, about 2 years ago now, almost 2 years ago. And back then she was saying public figures are really enjoying using Instagram as a place to build up awareness and bring people behind the scenes, and they're finding it's a friendly place to be too. You know, people are there, and I even work with radio stations, and I now see that journalists and news teams are now leveraging Instagram to share news, because people are getting their news from Instagram, believe it or not. It's growing in popularity, but also in terms of its user base. Then we go on to Twitter. I describe Twitter as your digital PR newsroom. Think about your media team, think about your comms team. They should be all over Twitter. So we go through how to perfect your Twitter account, how to craft tweets that succeed, managing a PR crisis on Twitter, Twitter's best features for public relations, hashtag on Twitter, and then Twitter analytics. Some of this you might know in terms of the content that we go through, but there's absolutely more learning for anyone at any standard. And the other thing I would say is, don't worry if you're a newbie, you're going to get best practices. Like learning to drive, you don't get the bad habits. You start off, you learn. And if you're already a savvy social media manager, this is a nice refresher. This is a nice kind of testing your knowledge, going deeper on topics. Again, there's extra resources there. And of course, getting accredited for it as well, and getting that recognition on your CV for career progression. Module 7 is about social and live video. Video is absolutely paramount on the social networks, between pre-recorded video, stories, and then live streaming, and how video can support PR, reputation management, and then citizen engagement as well. So I'll go through the video content that performs best on social media, how you can create your 12-month video plan, your live video checklist, video best practice for all social networks, editing live video for social media sound bites, and then video metrics that matter most. So even if you don't have digital content producers in your team, you guys can learn this. And I also have a host of tutorials on video software that you can use that is low cost. Some is even free, like Video in Canva, and how you can create video at a very low cost rate. And so there's lots of software that I recommend in that module as well. Module 8, we're going over to LinkedIn for personal and corporate brand building, how to perfect and leverage personal LinkedIn profiles, LinkedIn company pages and showcase pages. They're different, they're for your organization. LinkedIn etiquette, especially in terms of outreach and connecting and engaging, when and how to launch a LinkedIn group, video on LinkedIn, and then metrics on LinkedIn. And all of us should be on LinkedIn as individuals. Module 9 is the role of TikTok and Snapchat and public interest messaging. These are not the go-to platforms for government and public sector. Snapchat's features have been copied by Instagram. Younger demographics, you know, from 13 up are kind of starting off on TikTok now, as opposed to Snapchat. My study of 520 organizations in Ireland just a few months ago showed that I could find 26 accounts of Irish government and public sector who have a TikTok presence, but maybe aren't active on it, but have just saved their account profile. So I'll go into how Snapchat engages younger demographics, your Snapchat plan, Snapchat analytics, the role of TikTok and public interest messaging, and then mapping out a TikTok plan and TikTok metrics as well. Module 10 is dedicated to YouTube. YouTube is actually Ireland's biggest social network, and also other countries as well, but it's also viewed as a search engine. It's the world's second largest search engine. It's owned by Google. Google is the world's largest search engine. So we're going to focus on YouTube for niche content and search engine optimization. So the search discoverability is the immediate win-win for YouTube for you guys. So we'll talk about YouTube and its dominance in search, YouTube and SEO, your YouTube plan, how to optimize videos on YouTube, YouTube videos and your website, and then we'll have a look at YouTube analytics. Module 11 is very important. This is about governance and social media policies. All of these that you see on the screen are actually templates within the Learning Hub. So you get them as templates, download them, customize them to your own organization, and then I explain how you use them and how they should be implemented. So a social media policy for your organization, social media use policy for staff, a crisis management protocol, security protocol. If there's a breach, what do you do? How do you escalate it? All that is mapped out for every social network, a legal compliance protocol, and a moderation and an abuse protocol. This module in itself is probably worth the value of the entire course and the 1-year access. But I know how important it is because I get hired to write this stuff for government and public sector, but I am giving you these because you need them. And as part of my teaching, I give you practical resources. So, you know, why do the work a second time when I've done the foundations and you can take it and tweak it? Module 12 is all about analytics and data and metrics. One thing that I would say is that I touch on metrics in each of the social networks, but in module 12, I go a little bit deeper into the data. Don't be afraid of data. I mean, I wasn't a numbers person at school, failed junior cert maths, got a B in past maths at Leaving Cert, kind of had that fear of numbers, but would you believe I absolutely love the data associated with digital and social. I love reading dashboards, and for me, it tells a story. And so I want to kind of give you that knowledge and that empowerment of reading your data. So what are meaningful social media metrics? It's not just followers, right? What about Google and social media metrics? What role does your website play? How about hashtags? Hashtags are like the glue for me that bind the social web together. They are powerful, and I love measuring hashtags after campaigns. How to develop your own social media report template. Again, I have one, you can download it. presenting a social media report to management, and then essential tools and software for data analytics. Why do it manually when we have artificial intelligence and a subset of that machine learning that can do it much better for us? And I'll share my insights on that. There are the 12 modules. I know that it seems a lot, but what I say to you, my advice to you on this program is mark out the 2 hours. Mark out the 2 hours, get a notebook. I'm actually getting branded notebooks and I'll send you a copy. They're on my delivery for the graduates. And get a notebook, dedicate it to this course, set down the 2 hours out of twice a week and decide when you're going to prioritize it, and just listen and absorb. The quiz at the end will help you. The live coaching will help you. You've access for a year. I'm not expecting you to know every single thing that I share with you, but just commit to the time to listen and you will learn. And then when you begin to put that new learning into practice in your organization, you'll go, okay, my knowledge is real. If you forget something, you go back to the Learning Hub, you search for the topic and you go in. If it's not there, you ask me or I create a new piece of content. Okay. So think about this as not only a course, but your social media hub for a full year. And here's David. So David wasn't necessarily on the front line of social. He's from Quimbraham Community Council in South Wales. But every week he used to email me and he used to email his team and CC me, and he'd share with his team what he learned in the course. And I thought it was a brilliant way to leverage the knowledge. But have a listen. Here's what his takeaways were.
Yeah, I found it really interesting. Some of it reinforced stuff I knew already, and some of it was new to me. I jotted down a few notes. I mean, one of the things I picked up on it, and Joanne, you mentioned it earlier, where you said, Barack Obama, we should deliver services the way the public want them. You know, the world lives its life on a mobile phone on a bus stop now. They don't wait for the postman to bring the letters on a Saturday morning. On the fly, I think that's called, apparently. So your communications strategy needs to address that. And I've also noticed, you know, there's a huge overlap between people's professional digital personas and their personal personas. I try to keep it separate, but really, I think the world's moving in a different direction. Some things I hadn't heard of. I'd never heard of TikTok or analytics, but I have a greater understanding of what those words mean now. And using different platforms for different audiences. You know, what I call digital horses for digital courses. In my assignment, we aligned our corporate goals to our social media strategy. So where we would be celebrating, you know, Christmas, for example, or Remembrance Sunday, then we'll put that as a milestone for our social media activity. I'm not going to take that academic exercise to a lay audience of elderly counsellors. So that's one for me, but at least I've got something to start with. And Joanne, you've also taught me literally a new way of talking, because I was brought up in a sort of yes minister school on, you know, the council has resolved that, but no, I've got to be a real person and even use words like we. I never use we when I write. I was the council, but we are now changing that. On a personal thing, I found the course really refreshing because so many events I attend or training tools are based in England, and the public sector is very different in Wales and England, in lots of big small ways. So it's nice to have a spread of you know, the audience from across the you know, from across the British Isles really, and get different perspectives. I particularly enjoyed the address from the all I call him, John, is the Irish policeman. I think his name was David.
Oh, he was from the UK. David Bailey.
Yeah.
He was from the UK.
Oh, was he? I thought he was Irish.
No. Yeah, David Bailey.
Well, you had someone from the Irish police who was really good. Maybe it was on the hub rather than.
Yeah, it was in the hub. That was Andrew McGillen, and he's.
Yeah, he was very good. I I put on my little note here, I said, I am now developing signs of a real Irish accent, because I'm talking like Joanne every time I use social media. But she's not doing so well on the Welsh, guys. Needs work.
David is funny. So what he references there in terms of the group is, again, the live coaching. And so we have people from the Republic of Ireland, Northern Ireland, England, Scotland and Wales and New Zealand in that cohort of students. So the shared experience is super valuable, and David reiterates that. And as he said, things that he knew, but now he now he knows more to improve it, and that the strategy that he wrote actually as part of the assignment is a strategy now that's within their organization for 2021. At the end of each module, you will see the module quiz, but there's also a place where you can leave your comments. So you can leave your comments on what you enjoyed about the module, what you found difficult, or even questions. So when you leave a comment in the box under each of the modules, below the module quiz, I will get a notification. So that's my signal to come back to you. And then I respond to it publicly. So people see the question and they see the answer. So please use this frequently. In terms of the module quiz, it's multiple choice. There are 10 questions for every module at the end, but 4 possible answers. It'll take you about 3 to 4 minutes. If you don't get 10 out of 10 and you get 9 out of 10 and you kind of want to get 100%, you can go back, you refresh the quiz, and you can take them again. This is just a great way to test your learning. Google uses it in all their online courses. I also work for Google in terms of their marketing classes. So I think the module quiz is just really good for you to test your knowledge, and you'd be surprised how much you retain, and by refreshing the quiz, how much then that you know at the end of it. It doesn't apply to the final assignment score, but you have to do it in order to get to the next module. So I do encourage it. Then in terms of the final assignment, you're asked to create a social media plan, but you've got lots of options. You can create a social media plan for your organization, for a specific campaign. So let's say it's Heritage Awareness Week in September, you might create a social media plan for that campaign. Or like David did, he created a social media plan for his organization for a 12-month period. Some people also in previous classes created a plan and a business case to introduce a new social network. So a lot of them focused on Instagram. So again, you have options. And what I would say to you is make it applicable to what you're working on. What is the most value? Within the Learning Hub, you actually get a template social media plan for your organization. You also get a template social media plan for a specific campaign. And then in terms of each social network, I make the business case within each module relevant to that social network. So by the time you get to the assignment, you are so well equipped. And I will also do a live coaching session with people who are ready to do their assignment on their own and kind of go through the assignment again. So you'll have plenty of support. So don't even worry about that. And here's David Kane from the Department of Children and Youth Affairs in Ireland.
Yeah, look, it's been great. I think coming into it, we had made some strides in terms of what we were doing in the department, but there's so much more out there. And I think it's certainly been an eye-opener. I think there's a lot about social media that is, on the face of it, simple and straightforward and common sense, but I think to be really effective, and David mentioned the analytics side, it's something that we really hadn't looked at before. You know, you put a tweet out or you put a Facebook post out and you'd cross your fingers and you'd hope that people would retweet it and share it without actually understanding that there's a reason why they will or a reason why they won't. So I suppose we look towards 2021 with what I think is a robust strategy. It's thankfully getting some buy-in. As I said, it's been passed up the chain on request. The communications unit that we're part of is growing, and we'll probably double in size personnel-wise next year. And we'll be more at the centre of the department. So yeah, looking forward to in 12 months' time, looking back at having implemented what we planned.
So that's a strategy again that was written as part of an assignment that has been introduced and embraced by a government department and now integrated with a comms plan. And so that's how powerful your work is. Again, very, very practical. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring you to the Learning Hub. And I want you to tell me whether you can see my screen or not. And this is where you will access have your own personal login. Those of you that are starting today, your login details will be with you within the next 60 minutes. So look out for an email from info@publicsectormarketingpros.com. So let me just share my screen again and show you the Learning Hub. So just put in chat if you can see my screen, please. Can you see my screen? So here we are in the Learning Hub. When you get your login details, you put in your email address and your password and you arrive here. So here is the Learning Hub, and you have a welcome from me. I outline what is in the Learning Hub. I mentioned the quiz. So everything that I've gone through on this video, you can find it here. Here is the link. Put it in your calendar. Live coaching with Joanne. It's a short link. And that's where you'll join in my private Zoom room and join the other students for our live coaching. A little bit about me. Here's the full interview with Amanda Rosengrave from CPD. So you can start the course here, or you can go up here. Here we have all the course modules. Okay, so all the 12 modules are there. You can see that I've only completed 3. I wrote them. Let me go into module 1, and this is how it looks. So again, you'll see your progress here. So there's an intro to every module, a video intro. I outline the learning outcomes, and then here there's a playlist. Module 1 is about audit and strategy, so there's a lot in it. There's never 11 units in the others, and you can see here that you take them one at a time. Okay, so there are the videos. Again, you have an option to put in your earphones, in your AirPods, whatever, maybe connect it to a speaker while you're doing the housework. It doesn't really matter. And you can play the audio. So the audio is there as well. You can download the slides. You can download the transcripts. If you want to put a folder together, it's all there. And look, you can see the resources, the audit guide, the strategy is in Word, so you can customize it. Mastering social media ebook, digital team unit size and structure. Then you have a webinar that I did. You have tutorials on recommended tools that I use for audit. And then you have a case study, and that's the case study that David Collins was referring to with Andrew McAlinden. He's Director of Communications at Garda Síochána. Super, super case study. And here you have your quiz. Okay, and then after that, obviously you have your comment box down here. So that's how every module is structured. The Learning Hub is very mobile responsive. So if you're on a tablet, if you're on a mobile Android or iPhone, on a desktop or on a laptop, this really is, the UX and the interface is beautiful, very easy to navigate. So make it part of your week and find a time that you can do. Here's the place for the final assignment. Here you can click the assignment brief. I go into it in a little bit more detail, and then you upload your assignment here. So basically your strategy just needs to be a PDF. You click upload, and then I get a notification. We also have other resources. Again, they're not mandatory. We've got some expert interviews here. We have some other master classes here. There's the State of Social Media report that I published in November. All students get it for free. It's a paid for document. And then any upcoming events that I'm having as part of my community, I will invite you along. So you know, apart from the core modules, there's lots of nice networking. There's other masterclasses that you can attend. I do record the masterclasses. I do record the expert interviews. I don't record the live coaching. That is for us to have free flowing conversation in the moment. But what I always do after the coaching is I always send an email and outline the top takeaways. And if there's a resource that I had to create on the back of that live coaching, I'll signpost you to it. So that's the Learning Hub. That's where all of your material and your learning is for the diploma. So let me go back. I just have a couple of slides before we go to Q&A. So we were here. And you should be able to see my screen again. So we've done the Learning Hub tour. Everything is there. As always, any questions, you could drop me an email or write a comment in the particular module. I mentioned the graduations. They are virtual. When COVID has passed and we're all vaccinated and we can start to see each other in person, I'll be bringing back our in-person events and maybe in-person graduations, but for now and for the foreseeable, they are going to be virtual, and they are lots of fun, and you do get your certification, and we always have a guest speaker. Here's a final kind of piece from one of the students. This is Ruth, and Ruth had a great outcome on the back of taking the course.
I think it's brilliant that we've all achieved this. When you think of all of the upheaval that we've had over the last number of months, this has been one of the wee things that has kept me sane. Looking in on a Friday, it's been just absolutely brilliant. So well done, I think, everybody. The biggest takeaway from me has without a doubt been the podcasting. When COVID hit, our staff were scattered everywhere, and we thought we'd introduce it as a new channel, basically, that we could reach people when we're sitting in their kitchens or wherever they were, and add on to the other channels that we have in place. And it has just taken off. I hadn't a clue what I was doing. I was stumbling around in the dark. Joanne then ran this masterclass, and since then it has just rocketed. You put the idea of mini series in my head, so we've done on 3 or 4 World Health Organization, and I've just started a few now on vaccine safety. So it's just been brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I've loved it, and you're going, my some of my colleagues here in the Health Service in the North have noticed all of this activity and enthusiasm, so I think they'll be coming to you next.
So that's kind of interesting that, you know, she had an idea. She said to me, you know, Joanne, I'm starting this podcast, but I'm not really sure how I can navigate it. And I was like, well, let me do a masterclass. So that's what I say to my students all the time. If there's something that you want to learn that's not touched upon, we can do it as a masterclass, or, you know, go through it in the live coaching, because we're here for a year. The other thing that I liked what Ruth said was her colleagues noticed. And that's really important, that they noticed the new things that she was introducing. They noticed an increase or a change in the social media direction. And then they asked her, you know, what are you doing? And that's where I want you guys to be, where you're empowered to make change. You're confident, but then you have the competencies, and you have the support of me for a year, and you have the support of the network. So that's an overview of the social media diploma, of the modules, of the resources, of the technology, of the assignment, of the structure, of the timeframes, the accreditation, and then some testimonials from previous students. Do you have any other questions for me that you want me to answer at this stage? Let me know. One thing then that I didn't put in was the cost of the program for 12 months. So the cost is €1,500 for the full year. That includes obviously the course materials, the live coaching, access to the Learning Hub for 12 months, and your accreditation is included, as well as the graduation and any other resources. And I do send you out a little welcome pack as well when you join in the post. So I'll follow up with your postal address. So the cost is €1,500. If there are additional team members within your organization that wants to take it, there are discounts, and I will speak to you directly about that as well. Anyone else have any other questions? I do have a frequently asked question on the landing page as well. It's at publicsectormarketingpros.com/SM-diploma. So any questions that I get about the diploma that I haven't answered already, either in the webinar or on the website, I add them to the FAQ section. A common one is, what if I get stuck on a topic? You're not going to get stuck, because I'm here to support you. Even though you don't see me live until the third Friday of the month for those 90 minutes, I'm always here. So I'd often be kind of conversing with people one-on-one via email, or, you know, directing them to further supports, or even jumping on a call. So you're part of this community. No soldier is left behind. No matter what stage of social media you're at, we all come together and everybody gets to the end. The other most common question that I get is, again, people not being able to keep up because life happens. That doesn't matter to me. I've designed it so that it has structure, but if you need extensions, you can just put your assignment out until the next graduation ceremony. And as I said, I have one a quarter for all of my courses, and yeah, so that's never a problem. Any other questions or comments? I've kind of tried to perfect this information and onboarding webinar now based on the questions that I've got previously. The next start date, Sinead, well, you can actually start anytime. From the moment that you register, you get access, and then you will be presented with your first. So if you register on a Monday, you'll get access immediately, and then 2 days later, you're then given your first module. So it's always on. I'm always there for the live coaching, always there for the support. So yeah, so you can start at any time. That's actually a question I forgot to answer. I must check if it's on my FAQ. Yeah. Anybody else got any other questions? Don't be afraid. That's the one thing that I would say. There's a lot there, but I really handhold you through it. Sandra, I'm delighted to have you start. You know, if you want to take both courses, you can. Entirely up to you. And we can talk about that separately. I know you're torn between the digital marketing diploma and the social media one. They're very different. Social media is full on social media. The digital marketing one only has one module on social media at a very high level. If you wanted to start with one, I'd say start with this one. You know, you won't be disappointed. So yeah, there's lots of support. There's a community there. I've made it flexible. You've access for a full year. We don't do stress here. It's one of my rules. Nobody does stress if they're taking the course. It should be fun, should be enjoyable, should be something that you look forward to. And it will help you with career progression. I absolutely promise you that. If you have ambition, you know, to go further in your career, this will help you. We don't have enough people who understand social media at the level that I teach it. We need more people. You know, that's my ambition, is to have as many government and public sector professionals skilled in this so that you can own your story and you can take back control of your content, your media narrative, and be more confident engaging with the public and not fear social media. There's a lot of fear. I know there's a lot of negativity around social. There's a brilliant interview that I did with Tony Reno. It's called How to Manage Negativity Online. He was one of our guest experts. It's in the Learning Hub. It's fantastic. And I'm actually going to do a live show on that as well. Helena, you're going to get them within the next half an hour. So practically immediately, once I end this, they're going to be in your inbox. But check spam. You got to whitelist our email address, info@publicsectormarketingpros.com. Radio. Again, it's immediately. You get access once today that you've started. Once you're onboarded, you get the access immediately. So for those of you that are starting now, your access is going to be in your inbox in the next 10 minutes. Oops. And let me see, I think I have one more question here. Okay, great. I love when people say can't wait to get stuck in, and please leave comments after the modules and give me feedback. And I'm looking forward to working with you over the next 12 months. And yeah, and as you go through your journey, even after so you see all the testimonials from Ruth and Michelle and David, they're now have graduated, they've submitted their assignment, and they're now into being part of this community to kind of learn more, going back into the other resources and just continuing to upskill. Yeah, so, and even if you don't take one of our paid courses, there's loads and loads of free content that I give out. Every week there's a new blog post on our blog, on our website. The podcast is there, the show on YouTube is there, and then if you sign up to our e-zine, you hear from me on a Tuesday. And then I've usually got a free webinar every month. There's lots of free content, even if you don't want to take the paid. But lovely to hang out with you today. If you have any questions at any time that come to mind, drop me an email and I'll always come back to you. And best of luck to those who are kicking off with their course today. You'll do brilliant, and I look forward to working with you. So guys, have a great day, and I'll talk to you all soon.